So Joe, who's your character? They're called Steve and they live... Oh, no. I don't want you to explain it to me. Okay, so who are they? They're called Steve and they... Oh, no. I don't want you to tell me. But you just asked me... Yeah, but I want you to show me, not tell me. What? One of the greatest challenges of writing the start of a story is abiding by a rule that massively contradicts itself. Show, don't tell. Introduce a story and the characters so we know what the freaking heck is going on and who they are and where they are. Simultaneously doing it in a compelling way, and the contradiction is we've somehow got to describe everything without describing things. And that means avoiding info dumps at all costs. Info dumps are not good. But Joe, I don't know what an info dump is. An info dump is when you stop telling the story and you pause to explain lots of details about your character or your world or what's going on. But why is that bad? Because it's boring. But why? Because it is. But why? Okay, let me show you why it's boring. Once upon a time, there was a traveller called Steve. Steve had brown hair and blue eyes. He was dressed in cloth. He was tall. He liked toast. He was walking on a path in the woods. The woods were dark and scary. They were made of trees. The trees were made of wood. The path was wide. It had bugs on it. Steve didn't like bugs, so he stopped walking. Steve was scared of bugs. Steve was traumatized by bugs when he was young. Steve wanted to keep going, but was too scared of the bugs. So Steve took out his sword to slay the bugs. Steve was a warrior. He was skilled in fighting bugs. He trained as a knight when he was young to slay bugs and other things with a sword. And then Steve slayed the bugs with his sword. And there was bug juice all over him, and he was happy. The end. So what do you think of my story? It's a boring story, isn't it? You see what was happening? There are several plot points in this strange story. Steve is walking on a path, he comes across bugs. He stops walking, he gets out his sword, he slays the bugs. Each of those is a small plot point. Other people call them beats in a story. I'm not a fan of that word, a story beat. Something happens in a story, one bit at a time, and the character does something in response. And at each point, a story moves forward from one event to the next. I prefer to call them events or plot points, because it's an event, something that happens. One event transitions from one event to the next, and then it transitions from one scene to the next. And there's a secret to transitioning from scenes the right way and the wrong way. Go and watch the video linked below to make the story flow much better, much smoother. So in that strange story, between each of those plot points, I stopped the story and I gave you info dumps about who Steve is and the world he is in. What's happening? What happened in his past? Lots of descriptions that I thought you needed to know. But in reality, you didn't need to know. You just want to hear the bloody story. You just want to know what happens. So your focus when starting a story isn't explaining the things that we need to know. It's not introducing details to the audience. Your first priority when starting a story, at the beginning of a story, is getting the story moving, getting the character from one event to the next until they are pushed out of their comfort zone. And when they are then out of their comfort zone, that's about the middle of the story, usually. Then you can start, if you really want to, you can start doing details, describing things and stuff. Then you can start doing that. And if you really want to know how to do that, check out my step-by-step guide on the 3-act structure. I made that series literally for you. It's the most in-depth tutorial on YouTube. It walks you through how to write a story, a full story from an idea, using the 3-act structure. Just follow the plot points. It's that simple. So what now? Never describe anything ever again! No, not quite. Here's a challenge for you. It'll help you get you in the mindset when writing a story. Write a story by only explaining what happens. This is a good practice. So just for this little challenge, you can start every sentence with this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and so on. Because believe it or not, you're the only one that feels like your story needs things explained. You're the only one that feels like the audience need to know these details, when really what's important is what happens, and then what happens next, and then next, and then next. Let me tell you this, I create these videos so writing is made easier for all of you. That's all that matters to me. And so long as I can help you with that, then I'm happy. Let me also tell you this. If a detail in a story about a character or the world that they're in is absolutely essential to the story, then as you write what happens and this and then this and then this, we naturally pick up on those details without you ever having to explain anything. The hardest challenge when writing the middle of a story as well. If you enjoyed this video, look out for that next one, because I will be doing one very soon. I'm Joe Webb, a storyteller. Learn to write fiction properly.